What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. My name's Rich. You can find me on all the socials at rich.paiva on X, at FuzzDoomRip, doing reviews for Music Beauty of Metal, and as a Doom Charts contributor, and the show as a sponsor of Tampa Doom and Gloom Fest 3 with my boys from Flores and New Dawn Fades, and possibly a band we're about to talk to in a minute, but we'll get to that in a second as I introduce my co-host, Turbo. Turbo, what's going on?
I'm a little claustrophobic right now. Just surrounded by people.
Small area, lots of people. I understand. I'm glad you're here joining us, talking to a band that is scheduled to play at Tampa Doom and Gloom Fest on Sunday in November. We're very excited to talk to the Raleigh, North Carolina band Broadslab. Guys, how are you all doing?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Excellent. Excellent. I'm so happy to have all you guys on. We're just chatting a little bit before we turned on the record button there. You guys have a new record coming out on June 26th. It's called The Fifth Essence. And Turbo and I have had a chance to have a listen, or two or 10. And it's killer. I can't wait for everybody to hear it. Congratulations on that. How are you guys all doing today?
Good. Great. Yeah. Hanging in there.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Love when we get to have full bands on the show. So I want to take just a minute, if you guys could, to just introduce yourselves, tell us what you guys do in the band. I'll start with what I'm looking at. Peter, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about what you do in Broadslab.
I play the drums in Broadslab, and I have intention of singing backups soon.
Intention.
Yeah.
Does that mean they won't let you yet, or
No, I just haven't started. I haven't started doing
We're
it.
very excited
Okay,
for that,
all right.
actually.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
I'm still
Yeah.
kind of fresh, trying to get the drums ironed out.
We'll talk about that because you told us a little bit about kind of being the new guy in the band. So I'm definitely going to ask you about that. Eddie, how about you?
Yeah, my name's Eddie. I play guitar in the band. And I do the occasional background singing too.
Excellent. Keith, nice to meet you, Keith. What's up?
All right, I do keyboards, all that
Excellent.
joiny organ stuff.
Great. And I see the name Old Timey Soup in the picture that I'm looking at, which we interact on Instagram all the time, if I'm not mistaken. But I have two fellas looking at me. What are you guys up to? Tell us who you guys are, what you do in the band.
I'm Cody. I also play guitar in the band and do some backup vocals and stuff like that.
And I'm Johnny, the lead vocalist, singer.
Very nice. Excellent. Very nice to meet all you guys. And like I said, super excited that you guys have a new record out, or coming out in June. I guess the first question is the last full length record that you guys had was 12 years ago. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
So that's a long time, obviously. So what has happened to now kind of, I don't want to say resurrect, 'cause I know you guys have been playing live in various incarnations, talking to some of the folks I know in the North Carolina area, like Jay from Holy Roller and some of those guys who gets to see you guys play. But what happened now that we're getting a new Broadslab record?
Well, we had kids, and now our kids are old enough that we can do the thing again. To be quite honest with you.
So are these all songs that have been written since the last record, and kind of you've built up kind of a like a library of riffs and lyrics and stuff, or is this you guys made like a conscious effort to say we're going to resurrect this now and we're going to start kind of writing, or maybe a little bit of both?
Probably a little bit of both. I'd say half the
Yeah, a little
album
bit of
is
both.
new and half is older songs.
For those people who might not have heard Broadslab before, has, like I said, I've spent a lot of time with this record, and Turbo can back me up here. Generally, I usually say bands that nobody's heard of, and I compare them to the band that I'm talking to, and they're like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about, sir." But in this case, when I listen to the new record, I hear the things that I hear the most would be like Deep Purple, Leonard Skinner, and Corrosion of Conformity. Those are like the three things that like jump right out at me. if I'm saying that, am I crazy? Would people be like, "Oh no, I hear that too," or what? How do you guys feel about that comparison? Then I want to hear Turbo's opinion because usually he looks at me funny, and I see a kind of a funny look that I'm getting from him. But let's start with you guys. What do you guys think of that?
I dig it. I mean, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it.
A lot of
Excellent.
times people will ask me like, "Hey, what do you guys sound like?" And I'm like, "Well, if Leonard Skinner played heavy metal, that's it."
Mm-hmm.
Fair, and that would be the what I saw a description earlier. It was Southern soul metal. Is that something you guys coined, or somebody maybe who wrote a review or wrote an article about you guys? Did that come from them, or did that come from you guys?
Honestly, man, I think it just kind of happened. I don't really know who said it.
I think this guy used to hang out, and he was kind of big in the scene back in the day. Named Sean. I think he was the one who came up with that. Y'all remember
Yeah,
Sean,
with a
big beard?
long ass beard and shit.
The guys with lots of beard saying the guy with the
Yeah.
long ass beard
Oh,
makes me.
this guy's beard was down to his knees, man.
Well, okay, relatively speaking. Okay, we're talking. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's a
makes a
long
lot of
ass beard.
sense.
Yeah, but he'd throw that shit over his shoulder.
Turbo, what do you think when I say that comparison? Is it where would you go? Because I know you especially with bands like Skinner and Purple probably spent more
I
time
spent
with those
most of my
bands than I
time
have.
trying to figure out who Johnny sounds like. Because I keep thinking, man, I've heard his voice somewhere before. I was wondering which bands he may have been in, but I didn't realize that y'all had been around for this long. So I doubt that there would have been something before that. But yeah, Southern rock would have been my just go-to on this. To say, I don't know if I would have what bands I would compare it to. I just know y'all kick ass.
Thank
Thank you.
I did say that I was trying to bring a little John Lord, I don't, I'll let other people judge, but I was kind of using him as a reference point for sure.
No, that's a total good reference too, because like even when we were recording, like Keith was running his keyboards through, like a big orange amp, and like I mean, it was very like Deep Purple-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. It's the and Turbo can attest to this. When keys are done correctly in the heavy music that we listen to, it's like candy to me, and that I think is part of what drives me and kind of pulls me into you guys. One of the interesting things though, when I was looking at your Instagram, um, I don't know if it was you, Cody, or somebody else who put there was a picture of I believe the album by Typo Negative, October Rust, and I'm like, interesting. Typo is probably one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time.
Absolutely.
I don't
Nice.
think anybody would listen to your music and they'd say, "You guys sound like Typo," but tell me about that influence, the fact that someone posted that about the band and said, "If you like the kind of lyrics and stuff from Typo, check us out."
I feel like Typo is a huge influence on us because, well, I feel like they're a huge influence on the whole sludge scene down in New Orleans. When Carnivore was around, they had the hardcore thing going on, and then out of nowhere, the total tempo changed and it got sludgy. And that was just a huge influence on us growing up. And then like Peter Steele he's such a master with his melodies and his songwriting. Like we have bits and pieces that may sound like typo, but as far as their influence, it's an approach to how we go about writing more so than anything, I would think.
I love that. And keys and typo, obviously, Josh Silver's keys played a huge role in how they wrote. Um, and the interesting thing to me always about typo is it's just Peter was probably like a huge Beatles and Neil Young fan too, and that you don't necessarily get that until you see some of the covers that they did and things like that. Now I can talk typo all day. If you had to pull one typo record, which one are you doing? Is it October Rust or?
Man,
Oh,
Man.
that's
Man.
such a hard question to answer, Rich, because they're
I know,
all
yeah.
so good. Like I love them all. October Rust probably holds a special place in my heart for sure.
For people of a certain age, probably that you and I are close to, that record, I think, is the one. I go back and forth, and sometimes I'll say "World Coming Down" just because it's so
Man,
dark and so
there
it's
are some great songs on that
um
album, and even the last one that we got from them, "Dead Again," man, it's like everything came to a head, and it was almost perfect for me, man. It had the
yeah.
best of every album on that one, I feel like.
Typo was the only band that ever was the reason I got into a car accident because I was driving with my buddy in high school and I don't know, he had a paper, it's like Typo is coming with Biohazard and I'm like, and I just stopped not putting my foot on the brake and slammed into the back of the car.
Man,
Damn.
So totally worth it though, because we got to see Typo and Biohazard. So and
Right.
Marauder playing Master Killer stuff. Anyway, I digress. Let's talk about the new record. Some amazing stuff on there. I want to call out a couple of songs. Number one, Constellations, 9+ minutes long. Um, awesome. The tempo changes that you guys bring in that one. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that song, how it came to be, and maybe what little bit of what it's about?
It's about becoming a cliche in rock and roll, like drugged out and all that stuff, and then you become a T-shirt, and then it's a cautionary tale.
like a warning song.
Yeah.
Musically, we were probably influenced by a band from New Orleans called the Mystic Crew of Clearlight. They're a huge influence on
Yeah.
us. Big Ross on the organ and Jimmy Bauer on the guitar, Joey on the drums. That one album that they put out is probably one of the most played albums I have. I listen to it several times every week, and it's been a huge influence on me as a songwriter. But as far as when Eddie and I first put this band together, like that sound was something we were looking for.
Yeah,
I have
very, very
I
organ
had that.
driven
I've been listening
sound
to
to
that
that
forever.
too.
I was gonna say that came out back in 2000. It was a TP record on TP, the self-titled record.
Man, I had
Um,
never heard of that band, and I went to see Clutch and COC and just walked into their set and was blown away immediately. Changed my life.
this feels like me now going on Discogs and having to pay like $200 for some kind of old TP Records pressing of this. I have not spent a lot of time with this, and I really need to. It looks like like Pepper um, was involved with them in
Sucks.
some
My copy's
capacity from
somewhere
COC and stuff
somewhere.
like that.
They covered a Skinner song. They did "Cheating Woman."
Yeah, they covered Cheating Woman. Yeah, it was great.
All right, I don't know how this has missed me this entire time, but you guys are somebody else has mentioned this band to us, and I have to go back and listen to see who it was. But that's awesome. And if you, I forget who, maybe it was the guy from Suplex. Maybe I have to go back and, and listen as I talk to myself. But I just love that song and the changes and everything. The other song that as I was listening to the record that really jumps out at me is "Keep on Rolling," which is, I mean, you guys are Southern metal band and you have a song called "Keep on Rolling." It just feels like you should have a song called "Keep on Rolling." But tell us about that one if you don't mind, because that's the one that I have kind of had on repeat also, and it's interesting. I'm also picking the two longest songs on the record, but the ones that have kind of stayed with me the most. But tell us about that one if you don't mind.
Like a natural born killers kind of theme to
Mhm.
it, kind of
Kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde
Bonnie and
story.
Clyde.
Yeah, and it's got that galloping riff, and I mean, it's just like heavy, but it still swings. It's really fun to play.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's
So
actually
speaking of
our
fun to
newest
play,
single that just dropped last week.
excellent timing for that. And I
Mm.
love how you pick the single. These days, you pick singles based on the songs you want to, right? You don't care about nobody cares about if it it's long enough or short enough or whatever. You just want people to kind of come to it, and that I think is a great track to choose from. You mentioned playing fun to play, right? So you guys, I really came on my radar when I was talking with Jay from Holy Roller, saying that you guys were he was playing Holy Roller was playing a set with you, or he saw you guys play or something in that capacity, and he's like, really cool dudes. You should talk to them. They're kind of legends of the scene out this way. And that's kind of when I got turned on to some of the older stuff and things like that. So you guys, it sounds like you guys are maybe first a live band, just because that's kind of how it worked out. And now you're putting the record out. But do you think of you guys as like a live band first, and then the records come after that, or is that just kind of the way
No, that's
life
how I
has
feel
worked as
about
a
it.
band? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. It's like almost like an experience.
Absolutely.
And there's a ton of support that you guys get. I feel like I see at least one of somebody in Broadslab videos wearing the
Yeah.
shirt. I'm not sure who it was, right?
We're playing with those guys next
Amazing.
weekend.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So the scene, the North Carolina scene, we talked to a lot of bands, and I feel like 80% of the bands that we talk to are either from like Canada, Portland, or North Carolina. That seems like the biggest
Oh, wow.
chunk of the bands that we speak to, for whatever reason. Tell us about what the Raleigh scene is like, or just in general that general area and the bands that are around there, and what it's like to be a part of that. Whenever I mention or talk to bands from Carolina, Broadslab comes up, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yes.
Man,
The scene's
Who's
pretty cool, man. I mean, like we've got COC to the north of us in Raleigh, and then we've got Weed Eater to the southwest. Between the Buried in Me is from here. Like there's just a lot of good music going on and a lot of history. And in Raleigh, there's this venue right now. It's called Chapel of Bones, but it's had several different names. And in this building, Mike Dean's got his recording studio, and then there's probably a dozen band rooms. So it's like a musician's playground. Like there's always something going on. And man, there's always something to get into for music in Raleigh, I feel like.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
like speaking of Mike Dean's studio, like you never know what you're gonna see. Like you just randomly run into Randy from Lamb of God hanging up flyers for like his latest book, or Al Jorgensen was in there like a few months ago. It's just a random who you're gonna run into.
I would just want to hang out there and see.
It's cool.
Not sure what I'd say to Al Jurgensen at this point in time. I feel like I'd have a lot to say, but as a huge Ministry fan, I
I know.
feel like I would not know what to say to him, and he'd probably look at me like I was an idiot, no matter what I said. I just have that feeling. I don't know. I used to have an Uncle Al for President bumper sticker on my Kia, but that's a whole other story. Tell us about what you're playing out. I mentioned earlier that this show's a sponsor of Tampa Doom and Gloom Fest. Now you guys are playing a lot, right? You guys are doing not just the North Carolina or immediate area. You guys are doing a little bit more of a tour, expanding out a little bit more geographically. Is that correct?
Yes. We're trying to spread our wings and spread the word of Broadslab.
Mhm.
Love it,
Didn't do
love it. How did you get involved with the Tampa Doom and Gloom Fest?
Honestly, man, whenever we first started getting back together and jamming, we knew right away we have to record and get our product. And once we have our product, we're going to hit the road and we're going to start doing this thing. And I saw that they have done it in previous years. So I reached out and made a connection. And just as soon as I noticed they were booking, I messaged right away and he immediately confirmed us. And we're just really pumped about it.
Huh?
Love it. It's it's very welcomed if you're in Florida. We don't have like the scene, but there are bands that are there. So to start to get a scene even going more, um, uh, with the guys in Florist, and there's a band called Liquid Pennies and Hollow Leg from Orlando. So there are these bands that are here, and I was talking with Todd from Ripple, who I've just become friends with just as being part of the scene. He's moving to Florida, so we're like plotting.
Cool.
We're plotting Florida stuff now. So
I noticed
we're
they're
trying
sponsoring the festival now.
Yes, he
Yeah, I saw that
overshadowed
too.
my sponsorship by him now, flying in and becoming the sponsor of the Tampa Doom and Gloom Fest. It'd be good to have somebody to ride west with from Eastern Florida. It's very exciting. And to have a scene, and you guys are playing with another band friend of the show, New Dawn Fates. just another great band out of Philly who are going to be playing that Sunday night as well. So tell us the plans for the record. I know Turbo and I were lucky enough to have promo copy of the digital. Are you guys doing physical media, and how is that coming out? Tell us a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Well, we've got CDs coming out. We're gonna have, I guess, a small run of vinyl. I mean, we might even throw in some cassettes. I don't know. There's talk of that. So yeah, it'll definitely be available, physically.
Excellent. And you guys are working with a label, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right.
What label is that? We'll give them a little bit of love.
So Eric from Electric Desert Records picked us up, took a chance on us, and he's going to help us put this album out.
Excellent. We had a band on the show, which I'm having some technical difficulties with, but we had the Crooked Skulls on the show from Jersey, who are label mates of you guys as well. So excited to see some of the bands that are coming out through Electric Desert, and obviously has good taste as you know, the starts to put some stuff. I guess be a little bit more out there with stuff. Turbo, as usual, you probably think I've already had too much caffeine today, and it's 7:38, and I have not stopped talking. So, Turbo, I'm going to let you ask a question for once. So you go right ahead if you don't mind. I know. Shut up, Rich. Mute.
Well, y'all mentioned Mike Dean, so he did the recording. Did he help you with the recording? Did he have a lot of input to what y'all did, or did he just let y'all do your thing and just?
He pretty much just let us do our thing, and when we had some questions about maybe some advice, he threw us some ideas and some harmony ideas and things like that. He's a super easy guy to work with and super knowledgeable and just, man, really fucking down to earth guy. Super cool.
We've heard
And
that
Peter,
before from
so
people
you
who
said
have
you're
worked with him,
new
right?
to the band. Did you get to play on the album?
No, I did not.
So
Well,
you've
okay.
only played 3 shows, right? With
So,
with the
well,
guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, Turbo, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
I was going to say the same thing basically, but I didn't know how long ago the shows were spaced out. So he could have been on the album. I don't know.
No, it was a legitimate good question. I thought that was an excellent question, Turbo.
Also, with the name of the album, you got the name of the album is The Fifth Essence, but you also have a song called Quintessence. So was there a reason you separated them? Because that's basically the same thing, right?
Right. Well, we were trying to come down to deciding the name of the album, and The Fifth Essence just has such a cool flow to it. And I don't know, man. I guess depending on who you are and how intoxicated you might be, quintessence might be a little bit hard to figure out what it says. You know what I mean? So we kind of wanted to keep that in there, and that little instrumental piece of music transitioning from Keep On Rolling into Constellations. It was just kind of the perfect fit for that name.
So is this album like a transition for you all too?
I definitely feel like over the years and since we've been back together, we have matured and grown leaps and bounds as musicians. And now that we've got Keith and Peter in the band, writing new music is going to be really amazing, and we're very excited to do that. We have a giant folder full of ideas, and man, if y'all like The Fifth Essence, just wait till you hear the next shit.
Oh wow. It's not gonna be another 14 years in between records, is what I'm hearing. 12 years, right? All right. I love that. So yeah, Turbo.
Is Keith like, have you been with the band all this time, or are you like the second newest person?
Peter took my place as the new guy. I joined right before we recorded the record, so I had just enough time to learn the songs and get in there and do it. And I think it's a transition record for me as well. I mean, this is my first record, but also just in the time since we've recorded it, playing these songs over and over, we've come with some new ideas. If you hear it live, it'll sound a little different, a little punchier, live than it does on the record. And I think I've grown as a musician just in the short time I've been with the band. I know that these guys too have, so it's really kind of broadened everything on broad. The whole scope of what we do. So
Well done. Well done.
And
with
I
that.
watched a video of y'all
Trevor.
live, and I wanted to know the bass player's not here. Is he really that freaking tall, or does he stand? Does he stand?
He's actually I messed up Robbie's stats. He used to be the oldest and the tallest, but now I've taken that mantle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is over 6 feet and I'm 6'4". So
Yeah, keeps the double threat here.
double threat here.
New and tall.
New and tall.
We were joking around earlier with Turbo, and he was like, "Thank you for having shirts for big guys on the website because he's generally we can't find anything more than up to the extra large or 2XL." So he was very thankful and about that. I love this. So I just want to ask you just about the writing and how that's happened. It sounds like some of the stuff that's older were maybe the kind of the older 3 members of the band, or the 3 members who have been longest, and now Peter and Keith, you guys are bringing stuff to it. So for this record, was it a collaboration between really the 3 of you, and maybe the new stuff's going to have more of a band feel, or how did these particular songs come together lyrically and musically?
Musically, most of it was probably the 3 of us, Robbie included. Lyrically, we kind of all had inputs and everything like that, but when Keith came, he just like did his thing with the keys over it.
Love it. I feel like the keys are more like prevalent in these songs. I'm hearing that correctly? Because there were definitely keys on the first record and some of the older stuff. But was that a conscious effort, or did Keith just bring it and you're like, we have no choice but to turn up what he's doing and make it even more prevalent in the mix?
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
That was gorgeous. It was a beautiful thing. But yeah, no. Like I was saying, the songs were essentially written by the time I got there. I did sort of embellishments and color, doing things like that. And but I also had free reign. I was like, hey, what should go here? And they're like, hey, do whatever you want. And even Mike had some input during that. He was like, try this little stabby part, or we would kind of piece things together in the studio sometimes. And yeah, every now and then I'd hit a really good run or something like that, and he'd put punch up in the mix. And yeah, I don't want to talk too much, but I do like that people point out the keys. It's like, oh, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
That makes it special, I think.
Yeah.
I think that if people don't point out the keys, it's almost like, are you listening to the album? Because I mean, even like, Keith is kind of like downplaying his involvement. The stuff that he was doing, the stuff that he was coming up with, it added to the song. If it wasn't there, it wouldn't be the same song.
Absolutely.
Love that. We had the guys from Solace on the show, and they were kind of joking around because the lead singer didn't necessarily like the keys in the Solace songs. To me, it makes I love that band, but you put the keys in that mix too, and they were just funny how they would like when the singer wasn't looking, they just tell the producer to just bring the keys, and they would go like this, and it just cracked me up every time because to me it's like a secret sauce that makes something that next level awesome, and kind of stand out if you do it the right way and you include it in the mix that way. Very cool. Excellent. So just to Turbo, do you have anything else for the guys before we let them go? We know that Keith's going to see Heavy Temple in a few minutes, so we don't want to keep him too long.
Yeah, and I'm literally in the parking lot getting ready to go watch Steve Vai and Joe Satriani.
Man.
All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's awesome. Just a quick trivia point. My late father taught both of them in high school, not guitar, but math. So
Wow, that's cool.
say
That's
hi to
cool.
them for me. They probably have no idea who I am, but my dad taught them math, and I'm hoping that in some way that made their fingers do what they're doing.
That's cool.
But anyway, Turbo, did you have one last question for the guys?
No, man, just thanks for showing up and wish you all the best on this upcoming tour and everything and this album coming out. It's awesome. Hope everybody picks up on
Thank
it.
you,
Awesome.
man.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and just to summarize the new record, which we love, Turbo and I, and we are not trying to tease that we get to hear it and other people haven't, but we have, and we're special. And it's called The Fifth Essence, and it comes out June 26th. It's 7 tracks, and they're all killer. There's no skips here. It's I love the sequencing. I love how it's all kind of one kind of experience, but you can also listen to it track by track and still get the same kind of experience out of it. Um, I'm excited for people to hear this, and I'm excited that after kind of all these years, you guys are still excited to do it and bring it back and be a thing again. So that's very, very cool. I want to thank you guys for joining, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again. I can't wait to meet you all in person in Tampa. That's going to
It's gonna
be
a
an
blast.
amazing thing.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Keith, enjoy the show. Eddie, enjoy the show. Say hi to the Long Island guys for me. And everybody, go listen to Broadslab's stuff you can get. Listen to the new single. That's called it's Keep On Rolling is the single. And when this goes up for pre-order, everybody go buy it because you will not be disappointed. Thank you guys very much.
Is there a video for the
pleasure
new
meeting you.
single, Keep On Rolling?
It's in the works, man. We're working on that. Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
It is will there be shirts or something with that going on? Okay, because
Yes,
that's awesome.
for sure.
That is an awesome. Love the cover. Thank you guys. It was awesome.
you.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Right on.
Right on.
Awesome.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you.